All right, welcome back to another episode of For the Love or for TL of Wrestling. It's your boy Flex Washington,
Shooting star.
and we got a lot to say. We got a whole lot to say. The first episode, y'all seen some of the takes we had, and we just had a Night of Champions. We just had a Raw that happened, so we about to unleash pause. So, first things first, and I want to show this, and I'm going to allow my man's right here, Mr. Shooting Star, to comment on this.
You sure you want me to go first?
I want you to go first because when we were hanging out
Oh my
on
Lord.
Saturday and watching it, he had a lot to say during it, and he's going to have a lot to say now. So, Mr. Shooting Star, the floor is yours.
I was drinking. Thank God I was drinking. Because I needed something to relax me, and I still don't think it was enough. Jade Cargill. My oh my. She has the look. She has the attire. She has the attitude. But where is the in-ring ability? Now, she's not terrible. But when you're in the ring with someone like Asuka, who just so happens to be my favorite female superstar of all time, she got exposed. Now, we want to protect our stars, right? And this is also me being calm. I don't want to crash out. The episode just started. But man, Asuka carried that match. Asuka should have won. But TKO will TKO, and again, you can't put that much money and investment of time into a superstar like Jade Cargill and not just give her the reins. What really should have happened if you wanted Jade Cargill to look strong is that you should have had Asuka throw a flurry of offensive attacks for Jade to bat it away. It was just the never enough type of sequence. Asuka, offense, 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 stopped in her tracks. Offense, 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 stopped in her tracks. What it really turned out to be was Asuka carried. Oh shoot, this is supposed to be the finish of the match. Jade Cargill, few powerful moves, finisher, over. Ish. Because I don't know about the shoulders. They conveniently did not want to show the other angle of that pin that probably would have showed a discrepancy just like Orton versus Gunther last year. But hey, not everyone in WWE history has gotten to the top and been a complete superstar. And sure, Jade Cargill just got here. Maybe she'll get better. Maybe she'll get better in ring. There's different styles, there's different ways of doing it. But until she gets there, this match should have been produced a little differently. They should have made her look like this dominant person. She looked like she escaped. And when you're going to have a title of Queen of the Ring, this wasn't the first round. This was the finals, which in theory, if you're taking it literally, which nothing about Night of Champions was really literal, you should have had two superstars with phenomenal, just the whole package for you to say, I really don't know who's going to win. Either way, I'd be happy. I don't know if that's really what took place here. And how I'm going to end my take is by saying, I know she has the look, but maybe she should have gone for a mid-card title. I rest my case.
I did not think you were going to say that at the end. So the funny thing is that Jade Cargill, when she was at AEW, did not win a major title. She won the mid-card title. She won the TBS title, which is currently held by Mercedes Moné.
What isn't?
Right. Amongst other titles that are also being held by her. But Jade, honestly, there were times at AEW, and maybe this is revisionist history on my account, because I was getting into AEW a little late, but there were times when she would have the backstage promos. She had like her little clique. I forgot the name of them. But there were times when the TBS title was shown more on TV than the actual women's title. And I don't know if it was because of the injury or because of them trying to build it up, but she made her name off of that. The physique, the talk, and truth be told, I believe she got into wrestling in 2019, maybe 2020. I might be wrong. However, it's been 5 years. You would expect, people expect big jumps. And she has been working with Natalya. She's been in the dungeon. She's been working with Roxanne Perez, kind of as her like workout partner. There was pictures of that. Maybe it's just the fact that she had a new opponent, which was Asuka, and they've never worked together unless it was on the 3x3, the big three versus the damage control. And maybe that they couldn't call the match the way that they wanted to. We don't know. Which goes back to your point of somebody needs to step in and say, this is the way the match should go to both of them so that they understand how the flow of it should be. Now, the ending with her and she pulled her up and maybe her Asuka's shoulder was up. We will never know the end result of that.
Right.
But what I do think is while you're thinking about Asuka, and I picked Asuka in the last episode to win, simply because either woman that lost, in my opinion, was going to go to SummerSlam and face whoever the title holder is, much to your chagrin, because you were like, what's the point of Queen of the Ring tournament?
That means that second place is first place as well.
Right, first place just on a different show, right. So I felt like the storyline of Jade losing would have been more impactful because she'd face a greater foe. She had nothing to hold her head down to. And that she can go back to SmackDown and say, now I need to step my game up. That's a storyline in itself. But now it's Asuka's going away for however much time. Maybe she'll be back. Maybe she'll win the Evolution Battle Royal, which I don't think that she'll be part of it, but we'll see. We'll talk about that in a little bit later. But with Jade Cargill winning and the fan reaction in Saudi, which to an extent, the fan reaction in Saudi towards women really wasn't great unless you're a Tiffany Stratton or a Rhea Ripley. Let's just call it spade a spade. Julia got a good pop. Asuka got a good pop, which we were expecting. They're great wrestlers. Why would they not? But you had Naomi come out trying to cash in on Friday night. Boos. She's a heel. Of course, she's going to get booed.
Right.
I think she's a lovable heel. I think she's a great heel character. But she get booed, whatever. I felt like Jade getting booed was maybe the Saudi crowd not liking her because she's overpushed, but also because she's beating one of their ones that they like. And the fact that I'm going to call a spade, no pun intended, she's a strong, independent Black woman in this wrestling scene. Because I don't know if you've seen it, but there was a video of her walking out after she won Queen of the Ring.
I saw
and the guy was like, boo, boo, boo. And she's like, boo your mama. Perfect interaction between a fan. To me, that's a fun interaction between a wrestler and a fan. Keep it straight like that. That's it. Over. It was the after, though, that really stuck with me, and I didn't like that. F you, Jade. What? Like, to me, I felt like that's overboard because now it felt like more personal. It felt like you only say that to somebody that you just don't like. Like, you don't just throw around FUs if it's just whatever.
I think it's to get a reaction, and I think it's also because they're like, well, you're not going to do anything about it anyway. That's what I call me ignorant, but that's what I think it is. And the booing Jade could simply just be because of what they just watched.
Yeah, and I'm okay with the booing is going to happen. You know, we went through this with Bianca overseas, and she got booed, even though in the triple threat match up to WrestleMania she wasn't the heel. But we're not going to talk about that. We're going to talk about just the fact that on the strength of Jade winning Queen of the Ring, she got booed because she beat one of their favorites. I'm good with that. As a storyline, fine. But I feel like that got personal, and I feel like the online community has got personal with Jade to the point of where they forget that she's really been only on the main roster for like a little over a year, and part of that year and a half maybe has been her being hurt, kayfabe hurt.
Right, but they'll say that's not their problem. If she's only been here for that period of time, then she shouldn't be pushed as hard.
I would venture to say then you're mad that Jade's being pushed, but you're not mad at Tiffany Stratton being pushed. Is Tiffany Stratton a substantially better wrestler than Jade Cargill right now? Is the gap between Tiffany Stratton and Jade Cargill the same gap between, let's say, a Io Sky and a who's like a similar version of Io Sky, like a, I don't want to say Julia because they're really close. Somebody that is like the same archetype but different in itself. Let's say Zelina Vega. Sure, I don't care. Is Io Sky and Zelina Vega, the gap between them, the same as Jade and Tiffany Stratton? I would say no. I would say Tiffany Stratton is an athletic character just like Jade, but there have been times when Tiffany Stratton messed up. Why is it that? And I'm never going to be apologist about this. Why is it that certain wrestlers are getting the leeway? And I think I know what you're going to say about it. But why are certain wrestlers given leeway where other wrestlers aren't? Even though their timetables have been the same, even though they're all training the exact same way. You know, even Maxine Dupree. Maxine Dupree hasn't wrestled in a while. But I know for sure that Maxine Dupree is going to go out there and she's going to get love no matter what. Maxine Dupree has like 4 moves to do. Literally.
So
go ahead.
To answer your original question,
mm-hmm.
I would say yes.
Okay.
Now there's some trade-offs.
Mm-hmm.
Some people like the Tiffany Stratton character. Do I think should it be as over as Jade? But no, but she at least has a catchphrase. Tiffy time. Even if it's just that, people will chant it. It gets the the universe engaged. In ring, Tiffany Stratton is better than Jade Cargill. Tiffany is not, in my opinion, top tier, but to me, she puts on better matches. She at least has enough matches where I could at least see a progression in her in-ring ability. Okay, so she can be stiff here. Oh, okay, this is, a time for her to show her athleticism. Bringing in Maxine, the reason people will cheer for her is because almost how it was for Liv years ago is that we know you kind of deserve a little bit more time. We're kind of rooting for you. But at the same time, WWE is not trying to make you the face of the women's division. Yeah. So she's within the role that she's supposed to be in.
Mhm.
If she comes out, yeah, they'll cheer the same way that, oh man, I don't even want to compare, but like when I used to go to Raws back in 2017, 2018, and they had like the main event 30 minutes before Raw or SmackDown,
Mhm.
like I would see like a Zack Ryder
Mhm.
get a pop. But if Zack Ryder was essentially what they were trying to do with the big dog Roman Reigns,
Mhm.
he would get booed because they just say he's not good enough for this position right now.
Mhm.
But for the status that he was, you're able to cheer because you weren't being forced to. With Maxine, you're not being forced to. She's like, okay, you know, we probably expect her to lose. She's a likable person, this, that, and the third. There are Tiffany Stratton haters. And their justification is not really wrong. But to use that same logic for Jade, no, she is being pushed. And some people might feel like she's not ready. Or they'll just say, like, man, she has everything. But you gotta hang in the ring at least. Like, it has to at least be decent. I mean, people haven't gotten over the Roxanne match. The ending, how it was awkward, the power bomb, is it a pin?
That was awkward.
It's
yes.
back to back. And again, wrestling is not an easy thing. We acknowledge that.
Mhm.
Nothing is going to change overnight or week to week. But if you are the superstar and, you know, you should be mindful of awkward moments, lack of fluidity in the ring. The next time you go out there, you're going to try and fix some things. And it's not that Jade necessarily messed up in her match with Asuka. It's more so like your character wasn't present. You're supposed to be this dominating person. And I'm not saying squash Asuka. Let Asuka get her stuff in. But with a match that has like serious implications, like wrestle the match like you want it. Like you're not supposed to be an underdog. And I love Asuka, but Jade was not built to be an underdog. And that's what it looked like when she faced Asuka. It looked like someone from NXT wrestling someone on the main roster who's been established. And then even though Jade hit her finisher and won, it almost felt like she did a roll-up pin and escaped.
Mhm.
That's how it feels to me. So now, funny enough, you're getting Jade versus Tiffany, assuming Tiffany keeps her title till SummerSlam, which I anticipate.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what that match is going to look like.
I mean, we've seen it. We have seen the Tiffany versus Jade match, and to your point, and I'll end my point with this. I don't feel like if you're saying that Tiffany is the better wrestler or the more superior wrestler than Jade, I did not see Tiffany then in their match together carrying Jade. There was no carry. Now we can look back and watch the tape on that, obviously, but I did not say, oh yeah, Tiffany is really, she's really carrying Jade right now. She looks like the more dominant wrestler. What I seen in that match was two athletic women going back and forth with each other. And it was a hell of a match that I believe was interrupted by either Nia Jax or Naomi. I believe it was Nia Jax that interrupted that match. So that's going to probably be our SummerSlam. I don't know if that starts or if it's in the middle of night one. I probably assume it would be one of the middle matches in night one. But I don't think that Jade is as far off as a lot of people are saying. I do think that there's moments where she needs to clean up. And with that comes time. I think with Jade, she just needs to understand that, maybe it's the fact that they're throwing too many moves at her at once, and that she just needs to. Because truth be told, Roman Reigns is not a great wrestler. Nobody says Roman Reigns is a wonderful wrestler,
but he's gotten better.
But you know what? But when he first coming out as the big dog era to the start of the tribal chief era, 7 years, 6 years, something like that, where people were like five moves of doom Roman.
But you don't have to go through that, though.
You don't have to go through that, but guess what? With certain wrestlers that are learning, they have to learn how to work it. But there's something about them that gets into the business, whether it is their look, the way they talk, all that. The wrestling's going to come, and let's hope it does. Because if it doesn't, then by all means they should get rid of her. Because number one thing they need to do is to know how to wrestle. But my final point is, I think that the Queen of the Ring has tarnished the bigger image of, the big three this year. They've been doing their thing. Elimination Chamber,
Money in the Bank,
Bianca, Money in the Bank, Naomi, Queen of the Ring, Jade. And I'm not going to complain about WWE's booking of black women right now. Black men, that's another conversation. But the black women, the three main black women on the roster are going to be main eventing and or winning championships. Right. I'm good with that because for a long time, it was Naomi for like a year or two, and then the Bianca reign. Mercedes, obviously. Former Sasha Banks, but that's kind of it. And now you're seeing more girls come from NXT, the Jada Parkers, the Last Legends, the Kalani Jordans, the Sol Rukas. I'm good with this.
Yeah. My last comment is none of this is really meant to sound like a Jade hater. Mm-hmm. This is like I really do.
He really does.
I really do.
Yeah.
I acknowledge that like she's going to be champion at some point. Whether it's a long run by itself or champion and then potential cash in. But what I don't want to happen is Jade to be champ and for the fans to boo her. And that's the thing. The Roman example, everyone felt like Roman was shoved down people's throats and like he wasn't ready or the fans weren't ready to crown him as that guy. The thing is, you never know how much time you have in this business.
Right.
So for the time that you do have, it has to be meaningful. Because it can't just be like, well, Jade was the right champion, but just not the right time. All of these things, and it's literally just the in-ring stuff. Jade doesn't need to speak a lot. Jade doesn't have to act. She doesn't have to be a gimmick. Just look at her.
Yeah, she is the gimmick, basically.
In my opinion, no offense to anyone else, best physique in women's history of wrestling. She looks like an action figure. She might actually be more fit than whatever action figure they'll make of her. I just don't want her to be champ because she has to be and get booed because people are like, well, yeah, you seem like a dominating figure, but like, you can't wrestle. I don't want the you can't wrestle chance.
Right.
She does not need to be a modern day China, where Jade looks like she could beat some men up, but China really was not the best in ring. She was just a dominating force. Jade is a dominating force, but in today's age, you gotta hang. You gotta hang in the ring.
Yeah, you gotta hang in the ring. Definitely.
So this comes from a place of love.
It's all love. You know, he is a big Jade fan. And I'm glad that she's Queen of the Ring. And I'm also glad that we have another black person that's the King of the Ring, and that's Cody Raheem Rhodes.
I don't co-sign this.
He does not co-sign this, by the way. And I'll make my take real quick with the Cody Rhodes and the Randy Orton match. Beautiful match, great, psychological match. Mentor versus mentee, like we talked about in the last podcast, and it delivered the way it should. I do notice that one thing in that match where Randy was doing what he said that he was going to do, which was anything necessary to win. And Cody said, I'm going to do the same. There's 2 points in that match where I was like, yeah, this is how Cody wins. The first was when Randy hesitated with the punt.
Right.
He said it himself. I'm going to do anything to win. He had him lined up for the punt. He hesitated, stopped himself, then went for it. Cody puts him in the figure four. The second thing that Randy did is he took off the turnbuckle pad. You know, referee's back, wasn't, turn, can't see it. Tried to use it against Cody. Cody pushes him. Now, Randy is obviously hurt when that happens.
Yep.
Cody, with no hesitation, puts him in the crossroads, 1, 2, 3, that's it. Remember when John Cena said, you're going to have to pull the trigger on certain things that you don't want to do. You can't allow the crowd to dictate your emotions in the ring.
That's right.
I think we're starting to see that. And as much as like Karrion Kross is the one to unlock the devil within, or the bad side with Sammy, John Cena's probably going to unlock the bad side, the Homelander, Cody Rhodes. Cody Lander in itself.
Right.
And I can't wait for that, because it's really going to test. We're going to talk about another superstar that's going to probably test the fans' fandom of them.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to test the fans on, do we root for Cody because we like him so much and we love the story that he ended, but he's been doing some dastardly things lately. If they matriculate into that as a storyline, or is it, dang, Cody's changed a lot, and I'm not happy about it. And the hero that I looked up to is now, I'm going through the same thing that I went through with Cena. Cody's doing the exact same thing now. Like, who can I trust? That's up to the fans to dictate that. But once again, King Cody Rhodes is our King of the Ring, and he will be facing John Cena, I assume, at SummerSlam, which is probably going to end night 2 of SummerSlam.
Yep. You took one of my great points.
Oh, I'm so sorry. And look, we don't talk about this before.
I'm happy.
Yeah, okay.
I'm happy that at least now I just know that you agree with it, with who Cody is becoming and why he acted in that manner. The only thing that you didn't say that I would just add is it's starting to look like the Cody Rhodes, Randy Orton storyline is looking very much like Kevin Owens, Cody Rhodes. Friendly, with something on the line, as it was Bash in Berlin. Where KO held back in that match and ultimately did not win the title. Randy held back and ultimately did not win King of the Ring. Now, sure, he removed the turnbuckle, but it's honestly just like a life lesson. Sometimes your first opportunity is the opportunity, and the second opportunity may not necessarily go your way. I loved Randy standing on the ramp during Cody's post-match interview because it's giving, I want to say it was Stephon Diggs in the playoffs after his team, whichever team he was on at the time, got eliminated.
Bills lost to the Chiefs,
and just watched the celebration. Orton didn't look happy for Cody. Now, sure, you could say Orton was mad at himself, the voices.
Mhm.
The voices started talking, and it just looked like steam was coming out
Mhm.
of his ears everywhere. The Viper was reignited. The hissing, everything is falling into place. And since you wanted to take a step further
Mhm.
and talk about Cena, could say it's too soon, but Randy always seems to be the superstar that when he loses an opportunity, he has no storyline.
Mhm.
And the fact that he faced Cena at Backlash,
Right.
the fact that he went through this tournament and lost in the finals,
Mhm.
I don't know if Cena and Cody is a one-on-one match. I wouldn't be surprised if Randy slithers his way
Mhm.
somehow into that match, a la Rhea Ripley earlier in
Right.
the year.
Yeah.
Except he's just going to do heelish things where now it's like, no, I want to fight Randy.
Mhm.
And now somehow he finds himself. Randy can't go back to the mid card.
Oh no.
Like,
Hell
he can't
no.
go for the US title, which apparently, if you're not in the Bloodline, there is no storyline for you with that title. I just don't see Randy starting a feud with a random person. I see him as a jealous, angry superstar who's like, it was mine.
Mhm.
Again.
Mhm.
2 years in a row.
Yeah.
And Cena 117 and
Mhm.
Cody wants redemption, and it's like, when's Orton getting his next one? When is he actually going to win? I don't want it to be this thing where they keep teasing it. Kind of like when Shawn Michaels came back second time,
Mhm.
he won at Chamber.
Yeah.
He's had many opportunities after, but just never won it again.
Right. Exactly.
I don't want Randy to be that guy that never wins it again. But I don't know. I don't think he just waits in the shadows, because Cena and Cody does not excite me as a one-on-one match.
Not any. Well, the first one wasn't great.
The first one wasn't great, and I don't
Yeah.
know why I would expect something different the second time.
That's true.
So maybe it's a little bit more selfish that I would want an extra person, because that adds another element. But great match. Loved it. I really have nothing bad to say about it.
Mhm.
Really good chemistry. But I don't think this is over by a long shot.
I don't either. I don't. And you know what else is not over by a long shot? The Bloodline storyline is going to probably go on until we're old men.
Oh my lord.
Because you know those Samoans and those Tongans and all of them, just Pacific Islanders, they just reproduce at a massive rate. But we're not talking about that. We're talking about Mr. Solo Sikoa, Mr. The real tribal chief, the real Ulafala Weather, being the now United States champion, with the help of the returning Tonga Loa, with the help of the debuting Hikuleo, which is also the son of Haku. I want to say, you know what? I'm going to give you the floor first. I want you to talk about this first. I'll talk about Cody first. You talk about Jade. We're going to alternate like that. Go ahead.
First and foremost, I love you, Solo.
However,
that was not the time to take the title off of Jacob Fatu. Oh my goodness. All right. I understand it was a short title reign. It hurts. He'll be back. I think he'll win it back at some point. I think this is going to be a bloodline type feud for at least for a while.
Yeah.
If Solo didn't win, I don't know when he would have won. Because you could make the case that when he was the tribal chief, he should have won something. The problem is that he went after Cody. We knew that was not going to happen.
Not at all.
This, to me, may not necessarily be a bad thing, but my initial knee-jerk reaction was I did not like it. The reason I say this, and I don't think I said this to you yet,
I don't think you have either,
is because this storyline, this feud between Solo and Jacob, it just doesn't feel like it needed to be for a title. They're not fighting over a championship. Really, they're fighting over family.
Yeah.
Fighting over love.
Yeah.
The championship in this particular feud is an accessory. It's a prop. It doesn't define the rivalry. It doesn't end the rivalry. What it is, it's like those old classic Juicy Fruit commercials where it's just dangling and it's like, oh yeah, I have it, but does your life change drastically? No. A title while Solo was tribal chief would have meant a lot more. It would have solidified. Now, here's the thing. Solo's character has changed for the better.
Agreed.
I find him hilarious. I find him believable. Even with him saying like, so Jacob, come back. Apologize. I love you. But I need you to apologize in order to get another shot at this title. This menacing, diabolical character, Solo has layers. Solo is the last person who I would have thought had this many layers. And you're talking about, Roman to, Big Dog to Tribal Chief was like a 7-year run. How long did it take Solo to tap into this?
Maybe 2 years.
Maybe 2 years. It went from Cena saying you can't talk, like you've been silent for all this time and this is what you finally say when you speak, to now, if Solo's coming out to cut a promo, I am.
All ears.
All ears. All ears, no bathroom breaks.
Yada I mean. So, yeah.
So the title just doesn't seem like it needed to be a part of it, but because Jacob is the champion, to have a champion wrestle at Night of Champions and not defend the title did seem weird. What I probably would have preferred is maybe have the match on SmackDown.
And move to one of the others SmackDown matches, the title for one.
Correct.
Got you.
And then you can still have your shenanigans, but now that builds a SummerSlam match between Solo and Jacob. And that's what I probably would have preferred, because at that point, it's like, you've exhausted all these things. You know what? You don't want to come back to the family? Well, then I'm going to take the one thing that you care about, and that's that championship. That's it. That's how I would have done it. Because right now, it feels like there's still family drama with or without the title. If you drag that out a little bit more, and again, just a month more, I think it would have made a bigger difference. But shout out to Solo. I guess he really is taking it all.
Solo winning the title. While you were talking, I thought about something that I did not think about in terms of booking and future storylines and all that. Though the shock factor of Solo winning was so prevalent, I do think that it's the right decision if WWE is going to do this. Like you said before, them beefing over the United States Championship is more of just like, it's just a prop. I don't think there's any way that WWE/TKO would have kept the title on Jacob and have him lose the title to somebody. Jacob, if they really want the United States Championship out of the Bloodline and just worry about Bloodline matters, which we're kind of in agreement that we would like that to happen because they don't need to be beefing over titles. Jacob would have to lose the title. He could lose the title off of shenanigans. Jacob Fatu comes out and helps whoever he's going up against, and that gets the title off of that instead of Jacob Fatu losing to somebody and losing his gravitas or losing his his grandiose demeanor. Solo losing to somebody because Jacob interferes and all of the Jacob family members, not Jacob family, but the Solo family members get taken out, and he loses 1, 2, 3 to maybe a Damian Priest, maybe somebody else, maybe Drew McIntyre comes back. We don't know, but allowing the title out of that bloodline and into somebody else can now open up the United States Championship division. Still keep the bloodline stuff, and everybody wins at the end of the day.
I love it. I love that. If we want to label it fantasy booking.
Mm-hmm.
So, Solo has already said Jacob has to apologize. Does Jacob look like the type of person that's going to apologize?
Jacob don't look like the type to. First of all, he's been in that box. If you're going to apologize to anybody, he should apologize to the United States government of California. Like, he didn't apologize to them as an 18-year-old.
Right.
He ain't going to apologize now.
So, if that's the only way for him to get a championship rematch, it's not going to happen. Which then would, again, I don't know what you do with Jacob while Solo is beefing with another superstar,
mm-hmm.
but it's almost like the jealous ex.
Mm-hmm.
If you can have him, no one can. If I can have him, no one can have him,
right?
Or her, or, whatever. So it's like, well, Jacob's like, well, if I can't be champion, then you can't be champion.
Mm-hmm.
And costing Solo the match and the title would be great. The only thing is, it just seems like Solo would have to walk into SummerSlam as champion and lose it there, which means that we're not going to get another Solo Jacob one-on-one match. Maybe Clash.
Yeah, could be Clash, could be whatever they're doing in September and October. We don't know. Maybe they bring back Fastlane. I don't know.
Yeah, and maybe that's it, because I don't necessarily think that like Jacob and Solo running it back at SummerSlam
mm-hmm.
is really that intriguing to me. I don't think you can get there also without Jacob developing allies.
Mm-hmm.
Like, Solo has essentially a new bloodline.
Yep, he does.
And Jacob couldn't even get Jimmy to come out at Night of Champions. And I understand that their relationship is they're not tight, but there has to be some significance to their segment of SmackDown.
Right.
It's just, who else? Who else is Jacob going to find? That could be, something we speculate on later.
That's a storyline in itself.
Just for the sake of Night of Champions, I'm curious to see how Solo acts. And the thing is, there's the Bloodline storyline. He's also a champion. I want to see if Solo's promos kind of change, or if it stays the same. Because if it stays the same, then that proves that he didn't need the championship. If it changes, then I'm like, oh, Solo is kind of embracing that he's a champion. His promos aren't solely about family and love, and Jacob, it's, I want to defend this. This is for the family. And, essentially like you want some, come get some. I need to see championship holder promo from Solo as well, or else he doesn't need it.
I agree, bro. So, what I don't agree about is this man. This evil man. And I won't talk much about Cena because I want to talk about other things. But I'm going to keep my take on Cena short and sweet. As a fan, I love the Cena heel turn now. People are like, oh my God, the Cena heel turn is not picking up and da da da. Yeah, people didn't like the heel turn because it was surrounded around the final boss and Travis Scott, and people made memes about it, and people, kind of poo-pooed on it and all that. And now it's just Cena alone. But that's when Cena shines the brightest. He doesn't need people to elevate himself. He elevates himself. He's been at 25 years. He's a 17-time champion. He's the most winningest WWE champion.
Yep.
So, yes, I agree that did he really need The Rock and Travis Scott? It was the shock factor of it. But after that, I mean, he didn't really need them. He could have said, oh, yeah, I just used The Rock for Cody access. He could have done something like that. Instead of shrouded in darkness and, oh, I'm going to use Travis Scott to, have Cody be distracted, and didn't need that. Right. But the CM Punk and Cena match was great. It was very, very well done. So not better than Money in the Bank 2011, but we're not going to talk about that. We're not going to compare it because 2011 Money in the Bank was 14 years ago, and it was a moment in time.
That's crazy.
But for what they've done and for the 3 weeks that they built this match, it's about 3 weeks-ish that they built this match. It was well done. They had the whole ending where everybody comes out, tries to interfere. Seth Rollins comes out, and Cena's like, what are you doing? And Seth Rollins like, you're supposed to be dead. And he's like, well, I'm alive now. Like you get that, funny Cena moments, but at the same time, you're like, hey, Cena's going to come back. He's going to come to the good side, and he's going to really be with us, and he's going to embrace us again. And the camaraderie between CM Punk and Cena, you were like, oh my gosh, like this is the last time. They shook hands, they hugged, but then you remember, oh, he's bad. And he's using him. Now CM Punk caught that because, he's his oldest rival. Right. Him, Randy, they're his two oldest rivals. So they know the trick of the trade with Cena. But like you said before, and Seth Rollins said this yesterday on Raw. Oh, I wasn't cashing in on Cena. I was making sure that CM Punk didn't win this. Mm-hmm. My man said this like 3 weeks ago. He was deemed right, as he should. But that was what happened. Seth Rollins was like, you're not winning. As long as I'm here and as long as I'm breathing, you ain't winning it. And that's what he did. He put the exclamation point on CM Punk with the briefcase. I wish they had like a little storyline where like CM Punk's big head broke my briefcase, so I had to make a new one. Like that would be kind of funny. But WWE, we are not free of charge, but we are, contact us. But in all, to end my point, Cena is going to SummerSlam with the title. I personally don't want to see Cena until maybe 2 weeks before. I want Cody to be searching for Cena and Cena just not give him the time of day. Like, you're old news. Why am I have to go through this with you again?
Right.
And maybe that can build up the case of, Randy saying, like, him and Cody and Randy going back and forth with each other so that eventually when Cody and Randy are getting too much of the love and people are like, wow, we're clamoring for it, Cena comes back because he's a heel and he wants the love. He wants people to acknowledge 17, the never seen 17. His character is based on a jealous ex, like you were saying. I gave you 25 years of my best time and you've given me nothing. So I'm going to make sure that you acknowledge my worth. This is him talking to the fans.
Right.
You acknowledge my worth. So not you having Randy and Cody being bigger than me. Remember, I'm the champion. They need this from me. So he comes back, and then all of a sudden, it's a case where you get your triple threat match. Because all three men now don't like each other. The best triple threats are when all three people have
absolutely
animosity of different ways. I don't like you because of this. I don't like you because of this either.
Like the men's triple threat mania.
It's any triple threat, really. The future women's IT triple threat match we'll talk about a little bit.
Right.
So, Cena going to SummerSlam with the championship. Cody is going to be one of his competitors. We hope that Randy will be the other.
I have 4 things to say, and they're very short.
All right.
Phenomenal match, even without the shenanigans. CM Punk is Cena's best dance partner.
Mm-hmm.
Didn't necessarily like the fact that Sami Zayn came out to help. What I was disappointed in after the fact was that it wasn't R-Truth. It wasn't R-Truth, it wasn't LA Knight. And then the last thing I'm going to say, I hate that thumbnail. The reason I hate this thumbnail is because Cena should have saved that moment against Cody at WrestleMania. At SummerSlam, excuse me.
Again.
And what I really would have wanted would be because, I mean, at this point, poor ref in any Cena match.
Charles
Robinson. The GOAT.
The GOAT Charles Robinson.
The ref gets knocked out during Cody and Cena's match at SummerSlam. Cena reenacts that. Cody kicks him in the balls.
Ooh.
That heel turn had nothing to do with CM Punk. It had everything to do with Cody Rhodes in the ring. Cena, similar to his match with R-Truth, have that moment where, wait, maybe I am doing this all wrong. I've completely disregarded my morals for this. And he genuinely wants to wrap Cody in a dap and hug. Cody's face is the one that turns into what Cena did at Elimination Chamber. Cody sells it for a second. He kicks Cena in the nuts. I'm not saying he has to grab the title, hit him, but that moment alone, because that Cena face could be like top pictures of 2025, period. Let alone just wrestling, period. And then Cody wins the championship or something of that nature.
Who's to say that he won't do that? If he does do that, you've heard it first. That's going to happen. So if you see this in a month, basically a month and a day, and that Sunday night we see that happen, you heard it from the shooting star first.
And I guess in wrestling terms, you would call that a double turn.
Basically, a double turn.
Cena turns face and Cody turns heel. Or at least Cody does, dastardly things.
Dastardly things, yeah.
But now let's kind of see how the universe reacts. Do they make Cody a heel?
Yeah. And I truly think that if that happens, that's beautiful. And I love it.
Poetic.
And it's so poetic. I wish it would happen. I want it to happen so bad. But you know what's happening in about a week and about 5 days, roughly?
We got some events in Atlanta, Georgia.
And we're going to be fantasy booking those events.
All three.
All trace of them. So the first thing, which personally is going to be mine, which I would like to see, and we'll see if it happens, and I'm just going to be quick about it, is I want to see Sol Ruka versus Tatum Paxley for the Women's North American Championship. Now, the reason why I want to see that is they have a program together where Tatum Patrick is looking for friends. Zaruka, which is Zarya and Soruka, they were kind of being friendly but not being friends with Tatum Paxley. In comes Izzy Dame to say, "Hey, you don't need fake friends. You've had that before. People left you. I wouldn't leave you. The culling doesn't leave you." To the point where last week we had Tatum Paxley saying, "Oh, Soruka, you're my friend, right?" And she hugs her. But she's not. They're not friends. Izzy Dame is the friend.
Right.
So enough to where, Zaruka then came out. I'm sorry, that was 2 weeks ago. Last week was when Zaruka came out and they took Tatum Paxley, I guess, to quote unquote save her from Izzy Dame. I'm not sure. We need to get explanation of that.
Right.
So I think that this match can easily be booked for Great American Bash because Soruka doesn't have a match. And
which
she
is
hasn't,
a problem.
Which is a problem. And she hasn't defended that title since, I want to say, the last time she defended it was the last PLE, maybe. Battleground. And that was against Kalani Jordan. And that was a banger of a match. You cannot, at this point, you cannot leave Soruka and I would say Kalani Jordan off of any cards that NXT does now.
It's criminal.
It's criminal to do that.
Yeah.
I don't care that she's in with Zarya. Zarya and her are going to eventually break up eventually, and it's going to be Zarya doing it. I think. So, because Soruka's money.
Yeah.
So,
honestly, she's one of my favorites. So, and I don't know up to what age she could pull that finisher off. I almost don't care who she's fighting. I want to see Soruka's finisher in every match of hers that I watch.
Soul Snatcher.
It's
a great name too. I mean, look, she's got the look. She can talk. She can wrestle. Like, we love our black queens. You know what I mean? So at the end of the day, you have this match right here. And you got a banger because Tatum Paxley can also be really good in the ring.
She can go.
And I think that can be the match that is going to steal Great American Bash because also Great American Bash doesn't have marquee matches yet. You can make this. It doesn't have to be the main event, but you can make this the marquee match where people is like, we walk out of Great American Bash because we go into it. Yeah. That we're like, yo, that Paxley and Ruka match was everything I needed. I am ready for Saturday Night Main Event.
Yep.
So that's my prediction of Great American Bash. Do you have a prediction or do you want to go into Saturday Main Event?
We can go Saturday Night Main Event.
Let's do Saturday Main Event. So we have confirmed matches.
Finally.
I'm saying, right? So the first confirmed match is LA Knight versus Burn It Down, Seth freaking Rollins. I'll let you take the stage on that. Talk about it.
This might be the one match I'm looking forward to the most. I absolutely love LA Knight. I'm happy that he's facing a main event star.
Mm-hmm.
Even if he loses, I'm still cool with it. I don't know if you know what? Maybe I'm settling. I actually don't know who's gonna win. Because if Seth loses, he still has the briefcase. His stock doesn't drop that much. LA Knight winning, woo! Now we're gonna have to have some serious conversations. Where do we insert him into the title picture? The way that this rivalry started, it seemed like it wasn't even supposed to be personal. Right. It was just in the way. Can't do that to someone like LA Knight. To me, he is ready. I love this opportunity for him. I anticipate a really great match. I also anticipate the Bronze to be involved in another match, which we gonna talk about because I came up with a hot take on my way here.
Ooh. Okay.
And maybe that should be the next thing we talk about, only because we're talking about Seth now.
Mm-hmm.
We may not have a graphic for it, but
Are you talking about the graphic that I showed you? Oh wait, that was with the LA Knight, but no, I don't have a graphic for that.
Okay.
I might not have a graphic for that.
So we might have to keep it within this this topic. I don't necessarily think that this match needs to have interference, as crazy as it sounds. If it does, we kind of know who to expect. I'm not, at this point, the same way that people are going to be like, yeah, you know, The Rock's coming back. I have now put Roman Reigns in that category. And I am not going to do that to myself because I love myself, honestly.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not expecting Roman. I'm expecting, you know, the usual suspects. Braun and Braun, the Bronze, and then, you know, a combination of Penta and Sammy, Jey Uso, etc.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't really have much to say, except I just love that it's a one-on-one match instead of like Seth and Braun versus whoever.
I agree. I agree. So the second one, which we're not confirming it, but it's I feel like it's going to happen. It should happen. We Dirty Dominic Mysterio versus AJ Styles for the IC title. I mean, obviously, you know, AJ Styles. Since we've been watching, you know, going to events in the last 2 years, year and a half, we have not seen AJ Styles live.
And he's from this state.
I'd seen him once, actually, and that was a SmackDown in January in 2024, I think. But still.
Yeah, that's a long time.
It's still a long time. It's over a year and a half. So I can't wait. Hopefully that match happens. Hopefully Dominic is healed. If he's not healed, you know, he's going to have a doctor's note to say that he's not healed and no contact clause in his doctor's note. But if that happens, I think that they're going to be really good wrestling partners. Ones that you're like, old school versus new school, but they just click. I have the utmost confidence because both of them are really good wrestlers. And I think that they are building towards the psychology of the match where it's like, okay, Dom isn't trying to fight AJ Styles, and AJ Styles is chasing Dom to the point where once they get into the ring, I hope that they continue that where like Dom is being the, you know, the kind of like coward heel, like, oh no, I can't do this to old people. I can't do this. Like, and AJ Styles is like, no, like you gonna fight me because I ain't got much time left. Like, I want AJ Styles to tap into that, like, I ain't got that much time left. So I'm going all out in every single match I do. And it's for the title.
I'm here
and
for
it's
a
in
good
Georgia.
Time, not a long time.
I'm here for a good time, not a long time.
Right.
Do I think AJ Styles is going to win? I don't know. Because now that Judgment Day all have titles, they could be back. They could be all copacetic now, where I thought that there was some dissension. You know, Finn's got the tag team titles with JD now. You know, Roxanne and Raquel are going to defend it, which we will talk about a little bit. But, you know, we don't know. I don't want Dom to lose his title yet, but I also don't want AJ to take a loss. So I'm kind of conflicted.
I'm not concerned about the in-ring aspect. It's a little difficult for me to form the story around it. So on one hand, you can have the entire Judgment Day have gold, which, you know, that's a story in itself. You could also build a story about, first of all, Finn plays his character so damn well.
He does.
And it's just that jubilant smile that just kills me because it's like, no, everything's all right.
Everything's cool, you know.
You know. And man, like his sarcasm, it almost seems like he's trying to be fake on purpose, but it just comes out perfectly.
It's the Irish accent.
Maybe
we're good, lad.
Maybe that's what it is. And it's like I could imagine a world where Finn is saying, Dom, it's okay that you're the only one in the Judgment Day without a championship. We're still a family.
We're still a family, yeah.
I could see that.
Condescending.
I could see that whether, Dom loses straight up or Finn tries to help Dom but screws up and AJ wins.
I didn't think about that. Wow.
Because, again, we've spoken about long-term storytelling and how sometimes long-term is too long of a story. Does this kind of quickly pivot? Because they're only 2 weeks away from each other. Saturday night's main event and SummerSlam, which is kind of crazy. The same way that WrestleMania was late in April, SummerSlam's kind of early.
Yeah, it is. The first week of August, right?
Because it's usually around my birthday, which is the middle of August. But, I mean, in 2 weeks, do you get a Dom versus Finn at SummerSlam? Or do you do that at Clash?
Then you're booking. Then you're really long term booking it. And how long can Finn? I mean, you could do it in the sense of AJ has to keep waiting and waiting and waiting, and he starts to get really upset, and he's like, he might have to put something on the line. It might have to be a career match, and I don't want it to be that because I feel like that should be something bigger for AJ.
That's too soon. I know we spoke about that before, but it just doesn't feel right.
I know. But we don't know how much. Only he knows how much he has time. How much time he has left.
And he has said that he doesn't plan on doing like a retirement tour type thing. Right. So it may not be an advertised thing until it's time. But I don't know. Everything about the Judgment Day seems like they're not rushing anything. So I don't know. I don't know in terms of predictions.
Right.
I mean, do you even stretch out Dom's injury until SummerSlam? Because I know we're fantasy booking, but like what I'm anticipating, because Dom is cowardly, as you said, but also a comedic heel. This man said, "Can't touch this MC Hammer." Like, bro, like what are we doing?
Yeah.
But what if next Monday we find out this is a fraudulent doctor's note. And even Adam Pearce got fooled. Where AJ says something like, this doctor is not a real doctor.
That'd be a good storyline.
And then, Adam Pearce is like, oh, you made me look like a fool. And then, it's official, and then boom, they have their match. Again, not all the storylines have to be that serious. It could be something lighthearted, like a fake doctor's note, which guess what? People have done that for work.
Yeah, exactly.
In real life.
Yeah.
People have done it so they can go on vacation, so they can stay longer on vacation, or just because, man, I really just don't, I know I'm going to get written up if I call out sick. Boom. Here's a legit doctor's note. Dom's character fits that.
It does.
So that's what I'm hoping for, especially since it doesn't, a fake doctor's note, you don't need 2-3 weeks to draw that out.
Right.
You could handle that next Monday night. And since this match was already supposed to happen, it doesn't feel rushed, even though they're announcing it a week before Saturday night's main event. So that's my logic. And
it was a mischance in Night Champions for whatever reason. So it is a longer. It's one of the longer bookings that they do have. So we will see how that goes. Now, I'm not going to comment about this next match. All I'm going to say about this next match, and this is for Now We're in Evolution. This is JC Jane versus Jordan Grace. I already spoke about this. This is bathroom break for me, personally. Not because I love the two women, but I'm not interested in this match. Do you have any comments about it?
I will definitely be watching this match. I will use my bathroom break in between matches, or if there's a segment that's happening. I want to see this match. First of all, I paid money, and I'm not getting that match's portion of my ticket back in refunds. I'm watching it. That's it. I'm not saying it's highly anticipated. But I'm watching this match. Jordynne Grace better win. Because if she does not win, there's a lot of credibility issues. That's all I gotta say on that match. Okay. Shortest take.
Great short take. Now, this match, we are anticipating that this will be one of the matches. They're building up to it. Yesterday on Raw, they had a draw, which we don't see draws much. Becky Lynch, Bayley, Lyra, triple threat, IC title. Personally, this is going to bang in the ring. This is going to cook in the ring. And I feel like, and I'm going to stay with my take on this, Becky's still going to win. Because, one, she just got the title. Two, they are trying to reignite. I feel like what they found out, and maybe they already knew this, was that, hey, the 10-year rivalry that Bayley keeps talking about between her and Becky, and she's saying, well, I wasn't friends with her or Charlotte out of the 4 horsewomen. It was really Mercedes. I just feel like they have gold with that. They're honestly, Charlotte's still around, and that might be a whole nother match in itself because she might team up with Alexa Bliss, but they've been the most 2 consistent horsewomen. I mean, obviously they're the ones that are left, but I just feel like eventually the payoff for this would be Lyra winning in such a fashion where she's like, wow. People are like, wow, she beat both Becky and Bayley. And I would like for her to use that to help her catapult into, the realm of when somebody beats her, she's able we're able to say, hey, Lyra's ready to go up to the Women's World Heavyweight Championship. I think that's perfectly fine. She can lose to somebody like a Roxanne Perez, or she can lose to obviously a Stephanie Bakir, even though we think Stephanie Bakir should be a main eventer. Or one of NXT girls comes up. But I feel like the payoff for this is Lyra Valkyria holding it, but then when she loses it, we gotta put her up to the World Heavyweight Championship.
I absolutely think this match will happen at Evolution. It has to.
Oh yeah.
Just being a nerd.
Yeah, go ahead. We are nerdy, bro.
I really don't like the double pins.
That's the dumbest move in I think wrestling too. Yeah.
Double count out, double disqualification. I prefer that. Moving on. This is a tough match to predict. Like, I don't like the fact that I don't think Bayley will win. I think I agree with you.
Becky retains?
I think Becky retains. And I really, really like Lyra. I think she's, like, in ring, I think she's probably top 6, top 7 women. Easy for me. Today.
Okay.
I love her in the ring.
I'm not the biggest fan, but it is what it is.
Yeah. Man. At the moment, I don't have anything to oppose what you said. And I think Becky wins. And Becky is the person who allows an up-and-coming superstar to win the title from her. Now, I know that you said you think Stephanie should be in the main event scene, but you could also make the case that Julia should have as well.
True.
And if Stephanie wins a mid-card title...
That makes a mid-card title so much better.
It does. It does.
Credibility.
I wouldn't be upset with any outcome. But, man... The match might be my most anticipated match of the night.
Oh yeah, I feel like it's gonna be the best match, the best wrestling match we will see that night.
And I think you're gonna have I think each superstar is gonna have a moment where it's like, oh my gosh, they're gonna do it, and it's like, oh no. I do think it's gonna be Becky. Triple threat. There's no disqualification, so hey, we'll see what happens. But Becky wins.
Well, I guess we're in agreement on that. But for the last confirmed, y'all can already guess which match we're about to talk about. They confirmed it yesterday on Raw. Io Sky versus Rhea Ripley for the Women's World Championship. Like he called the World Heavyweight Championship. The Women's World Heavyweight Championship. They deserve it. Because they are all heavyweights. Because their gravitas is just so great. Go ahead. What do you think? You can start us off with that one.
I feel like we might disagree. That's but fine. This is not a long take either. What I think is that Rhea is going to do heel activities to win, but she will lose to Io Sky. I think Io Sky is going to retain, and we're going to unlock a new character in Rhea. She's going to be the title obsessed, that I have to be the best. I didn't mean to rhyme. And that's where we kind of go from there. Yeah, I think Io is going to be. Now I'm trying to think. I think she's gonna end up being the one who has, at least on the Raw, like the longest title reign. I guess you have Cena from SmackDown, but I don't think her title reign's over. Mm-hmm. I really don't. I think it's always easy to think any match Rhea's in and she's gonna win. But if I'm fantasy booking for the future, I have Io defeating Rhea mauling her post-match. I don't know if anyone comes out to help Io, but that happens. I think Io's next opponent is Asuka. She beats Asuka. And then Rhea eventually beats Io. But I don't think it's going to happen at Evolution.
I do disagree with you.
Perfect.
And once again, I'm thinking as WWE TKO.
Oh my gosh.
I'm
probably a hypocrite now.
You do not book this match.
I'm a hypocrite.
You're not a hypocrite. You do not book this match. And you do not have a star like Rhea Ripley for her to lose. I think once they confirm that Rhea Ripley is not going to continue anything with Raquel or Roxanne, you need to put the strap on her. The strap needs to go on Rhea Ripley. And I do agree that she's going to be doing bad, dastardly, conniving, evil, brutal things. However, those things that she does break Io Sky enough to where she loses. But we see something new from Io Sky. In the sense of she's been doing we love Io Sky. We love
she's always smiling.
It's amazing. She's always smiling.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like Rhea's going to be the one to take the smile off of Io Sky and tap in to what I would love in fantasy booking with this. Though I would love to see Asuka versus Io at SummerSlam, I would rather see Rhea versus Io SummerSlam. But this time, steel cage.
So wait, so who's leaving Evolution with the title?
Rhea Ripley.
So then Io's getting her rematch at SummerSlam.
Yep.
Wow.
The reason why it's got to be a steel cage, or it has to, I feel like it has to be steel cage, because it's strictly being like, I just want to see this. I want to see Io climb the cage, and people are like, "Oh, she's climbing over to win it."
Gosh, she's pulling a Jeff Hardy
Over the moonsault to Rhea Ripley. Now, do I think she's going to win? By all means, she should probably win. But I think Rhea retains at SummerSlam because I think she keeps the title
until Mania.
I'm saying even still until Perth. She can't go into Perth without that title. I thought she could be chasing the title then, which would allow, like we were saying before, with the Raquel and Roxanne to hold her over until the eventual Perth where she gets her rematch. And it allows people to not literally see Rhea all the time. And it's not like, oh my God, another Rhea versus Io match. But I think now they don't care. I think they give her the strap. She goes into it as the champion. And also, this is what I was talking about earlier, her doing these evil things makes her a heel in our eyes. The natural, the normal wrestling, verbiage is she's a heel. But are the fans really going to make her a heel?
No, she's too cool.
She's too cool. I feel like once they didn't make her, she wasn't a heel with the Bianca and Io triple threat. I think that there's nothing that they can do to make her a heel, which will allow Rhea to do whatever she wants and do whatever crazy thing that she needs to do in order to win the title, which she said yesterday. And the fans will still love her, and they'll still root for her. I don't think the fans are going to go against Io and boo Io for going against Rhea after it, but I don't think that I don't think she gets any boos. If she gets boos, it's strictly because they're going inside of the match and it's the whole back and forth. Boo, yeah. But even still, I think even with that, they'll still cheer. So that's my prediction.
Yeah, my position doesn't change.
And I'm okay with that. We will see.
I have Io winning.
Somebody's got to win. Either I'm going to win or you're going to win. So it doesn't matter. Unless there's like even in a DQ,
no,
Io will win.
That's not
what happened.
That's not happening.
I hope it doesn't happen. But,
I still have Io winning. I hear what you're saying. I could see it because it's definitely not far-fetched.
And we are going to see it. Yes. We're going to be there, so we're going to see all of it. So
I don't know. Yeah.
Yeah. Look, I mean, I didn't mean to drop the bomb on you at the end, but
now we still got one more thing to talk about.
All right, so go ahead.
I have one last.
Yes, the one last
Saturday night's main event prediction.
Go ahead.
Remember, I told you I didn't think there would be interferences between Seth and LA Knight.
Right.
I know that we're sort of integrating Raw with this.
Mm-hmm.
Paul Heyman has a plan B.
He does have a plan B. Oh, I think I know what you're about to say.
I don't know if you do.
Okay, go ahead. I'm gonna allow you to get your take out.
So you have Sami Zayn, Penta, Jey Uso. There's only 2 bronze. Interesting. Now, do they just pick 2 out of the 3 to wrestle them? No. Why? Because that's a Monday Night Raw match. Mm-hmm. That's what happened last night. There's a new member that's going to emerge.
That's what I thought you were going to say.
And I want to say that the consensus is still going to assume it's someone from the original list. The Ethan Page, the Ricky... Well, anyway.
To that.
Austin Theory. You know, there are a lot of names.
Please say the name I hope you're going to say.
How interesting would it be if Karrion Kross joined Seth Rollins' faction? How interesting. Are we just going to ignore the fact that Karrion just destroyed Sami Zayn on Raw and somehow Sami still managed to wrestle in that match? And I mean, Sami probably should have sold his midsection injury a little bit more, but Sami Zayn can't just go from that, not a champions match, get his butt whooped before his match, go through his match, and now we see that Jey Uso came to be the savior, and now it's 3-on-2. Seth is preoccupied with LA Knight, and at some point it's going to be Seth and CM Punk, most likely at SummerSlam. So what would Plan B be if it was not another member? Now, speculation on who that third member could be. Maybe there's another outside the box or in your face option, but I'm just like, interesting. If Sami Zayn is going to be a part of the Seth Rollins faction feud, then he's not going to be able to feud with them and feud with Karrion Kross at the same time. Maybe it's Karrion. Or maybe it's a one-off. Maybe it's just for this match, just so rivalries are kind of intertwined. But since he kind of gives off this leader feeling, maybe that clashes. Maybe they find a way to make it work. That's my hot take. That's my last Saturday night's main event prediction. How Karrion is revealed, it's not going to be just announced. It's going to be in the form of some brawl is going to happen, and then he comes out of nowhere, almost kind of like how Bronson returned.
Mm-hmm.
But I can tell that you're teetering back and forth. You need to respond to this. So
all I'm going to say to this is I would hate that. If it's a one-off, cool. He does not need to join a group. Karrion Kross does not need to join a group because he doesn't work well in groups. I think him and Scarlett are great together. They should never be in a group ever again. They had AOP. They had Paul Ellering, and that group felt convoluted because technically only 3 of them wrestled, but it still felt like too much.
Right.
So no, I if they do that, fine. Give Karrion Kross more. We give Karrion a push. We are with that. No, I thought what you were going to say, and this is just me wishful thinking, is Seth's gone. He went somewhere. He flew somewhere because he was like, oh, he's on the jet. That's what Paul Heyman said.
Okay.
He flew somewhere.
Uh-oh.
He's either flying to NXT, which I would love. That would give Ethan Page the nod.
Oh, where is he going? Where else?
It wouldn't work. And I just thought about that because they're both in goddamn Pittsburgh. Excuse my language. Sorry, Lord. What I was hoping was Carmelo Hayes could be one of them.
Oh, yeah, he was another one of the original.
Yeah, because I feel like he needs to do something. And maybe he just has something with Damian Priest, and we just going to see how that works. But I don't like Carmelo just floating around. He needs to be in some type of thing because he's the only one of their draft class that's not doing anything. So what I'm hoping for is Seth Rollins is flying to NXT to convince Ethan Page to come on board, which will allow Ethan Page, obviously, to, I believe, lose the Great American Bash, but then pop back up Saturday Night Main Event. I think they could do a thing where we don't know who their third partner is. or Seth is keeping it a secret, or Paul Heyman's like, don't worry about it. We got it. And Ethan Page going to have to do double duty. But I do think that if he's the third member of this and the fourth member of the group, I'm good with that. Because I already spoke about how I wanted him to be a third member of the group. So. But I can see Karrion Kross. The TKO, WWE, and me probably would be Karrion Kross. But the Booker, fantasy booking, future-looking Booker, Ethan Page.
The part that I did not take into consideration was the fact that he got on a jet, which means that this couldn't wait. And sure, you can get from Pittsburgh to Florida relatively easily. You could do it today.
Right.
And I don't want to read too much into this, but I think this is more so me confusing what I want versus what I think is going to happen.
Of course.
Because now you're making me take a step back from this Karrion thing. But I still don't understand like how Sammy's tied to that, but doesn't finish his stuff with Karrion. If I'm thinking in actuality, taking a private jet makes it seem like where you're going is super important. And I just don't think that someone like Seth would view NXT like that. Where it's like you have Braun Breaker that joined, you have Bronson Reed that joined, and there wasn't too much in terms of how they got there. But to build anticipation, like, no, I gotta take a private jet. And we're assuming it's for another member.
Right, yeah.
I feel like, and this is no offense to Ethan Page, but I feel like the third person would have to be a wow.
What do you think, like Trick?
I'm saying someone who we have not seen for a while. Someone like this. This is making me think about someone who may be a current free agent. Someone, and I don't know. I'm just saying if I'm taking a private jet, like this is either a sign of respect for who I'm flying to, or this is like a sense of urgency. I just don't think that he would have to leave Raw to go to NXT. That's the part that I'm kind of hung on.
Okay.
It's just a matter of who.
Yeah, I mean, I guess we will see. I would love for it to be somebody brand new, give it something fresh.
Like, could you imagine if?
Go ahead, say it.
Could you imagine if it was Omos?
You know what? Taking a private jet over to Japan.
Like,
why not?
Like, a private jet also implies that you have to go far.
Yeah, that's true.
That's almost like saying, "Oh, we're in Atlanta, Georgia. We're going to New York, and we're flying first class." Like that seems like a waste of money.
Yeah.
Private jets are expensive.
They are.
And even though he's like a top star, you're not doing that for nothing.
Yeah. We will see.
So it's who.
So I will end it on that note. Thank you for watching another 4TL of wrestling. This is your boy Flex Washington,
Shooting Star.
Please follow us on IG, on the YouTube, on the Twitter, on the threads, on the all of that. 4TL of wrestling, like it says right there in the top corner, right there. Boom, boom, boom.
Like, subscribe,
all that.
Comment.
Tell us what we think. Tell us who you like the best, because obviously This is a great man right here.
Oh.
He thought I was going to say something opposite. No, but honestly, tell us whose takes you like the best. Which takes would you like? Tell us some of your takes. We want to hear it. We like hearing it. Look, we do this for the love of wrestling. For the love of wrestling.
Listen, I don't know if you could see it. We got wrestling shirts on. We may not do this every single time.
Right, we ain't got that many.
I got, you know.
He got the angle, you know, the math one too. You know what I mean?
Yeah, look at that.
I'm saying I got the Becky and the BB. Yes. So appreciate y'all. Love y'all.
Love y'all.
Okay. Good shit.